Are live. Eric Butler, we are live. This is real. Welcome back to Unauthorized Opinions, uopod.com. Like, share, subscribe.
It's pure propaganda and it's super cringe, by the way.
An unopened can of orange soda just chilling in the parking lot. I was like, yeah, I gotta vote for Trump, dude.
It's great here, a lot of fat chicks and a lot of screaming.
Your podcast sucks. It's mental, mate.
Hello, Eric Butler. I realize that in that intro, I'm a little bit, hello, this is Myth. Maybe I just gotta do a voiceover like a Chinese action movie. Hello, welcome to Unauthorized Opinions.
Never disrespect the masters of the. I can't do it. It's like a Wu-Tang shout out, I guess, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was listening to some Wu-Tang in the car the other day. My girlfriend was very confused what was going on. She's like, "This is terrible." I'm like, "It's Wu-Tang. Like, you have to deal with the minute and a half Chinese kung fu movie intro dubbed over everything." How are you, Eric? Stupid weather, I'm guessing, down there.
Actually, you know what? It's funny you bring that up because it's not. Look, I don't even have my AC on right now. My door is cracked open, so we've come back down to earth here a little bit, and I just wanted to say, I guess it is a sodomy celebration today, right? There's parades and stuff happening all over the place, so happy Pride.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense, I guess.
I mean, I'm saying nothing, but I open my social media and it's just all. I'm trying to tune it out. I'm not trying to get too triggered over it, but it's like, guys, give it a rest. Okay, this is, I guess, is the climax. No pun intended. But dude, it's just, come on, we've had enough, and the time is going by so fast. I'm sure you recall the Postmates bottom friendly menu.
Yes, we were there for that.
Yeah.
At some point in 2019, I want to say, I was going to go cover the Pride in Toronto, but at that point, so many people were covering it from 2016, 17, and 18 that it became a thing where it was like, we know that it's perverted, we know that there's children there, and it's just played out. Like, Flex has done it every year, Elijah Schaefer had done it every year, Will Witt, like Savannah. Everybody was doing it, and I was like, what's even the point anymore? I'm Elad, of course. I was starting to skip everybody else's video because I was so sick of it, but now we've rolled back around to where it's really the cultural battleground again, and everybody's there. Another thing that everybody's there with, or they should be there with, is Hunter Biden. Now, leaked text messages and everything that we sort of knew about a few years ago when it was the saved voicemails he had. But this one literally says he's right next to Joe Biden, and this is absolutely crazy. We'll play the clip of people asking Karine, your favorite gender non-conforming person in the White House.
I don't think she's ever claimed to be gender non.
No, she's just gay.
She does now, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this. You probably won't like this because it's going to make you look bad and racist, but Blackety Ann is the perfect name for her. We had Raggedy Ann, right? We had Raggedy Ann, the Saki with the commie Russian hat, and then they replaced her with this. I mean, just a human shield from criticism, right? Like, you cannot touch this woman because she is black and likes to have sex with women and is married, as the kids might say, to a CNN employee. But
as you will be.
I digress.
I'm watching a newer Chef Ramsay show, All Stars or something. I don't even remember. But the goal is the winner, he invests $250,000 into their existing business. One woman on it, who, spoiler alert, got eliminated last week, she said that her life was so terrible because she's a black lesbian Muslim from New York. So that was her identity at the forefront. Thankfully, she's gone because she can't work with anybody. But it's just like nobody... She claims she's going to go international with her business, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, people in other countries, especially non-white countries, aren't going to pick up what you're putting down with this whole identity thing, because, it's not a thing in the Middle East, it's not a thing in Asia to be, my sexuality and my gender is the most important thing about me, and therefore give me money. But I digress, Eric. Hunter Biden, He got caught with a text message to a Chinese official. A
WhatsApp,
WhatsApp.
correct?
My
Yeah.
apologies. A WhatsApp message to Henry Zhao, who is the group chairman of China's Harvest Fund Management. So works. What's so funny? The word Zhao, the
Well,
name
does
Zhao.
this feel like a movie, like Die Hard, like some sort of like it's just
We
this
meet
is
again,
comical,
Mr.
bro.
Zhao.
Exactly, bro. Yeah.
We have your nephew, Mr. Biden, or your son, I guess. China's Harvest Fund Management. So works for the Chinese government, is the chairman of some sort of management fund, and Hunter used his father's name to demand a payment and threaten the businessman. They're being a little kind by saying he's not just a government official there. But as you know, you can't have a large business in China without the government controlling it. Sounds ridiculous, but it's a fact. This is Hunter Biden to the Chinese investment manager. I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight, Hunter Biden wrote. And Z, which I'm assuming means Mr. Zhao here, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, Zhao, okay, or the chairman,
Those are two different
okay,
people. So there's three people that he is willing to accept communications with, as I understand it, right? So it's,
Zhang, Mr. Zhao, or I'm guessing the president, but I thought the chairman would be uh, President Xi, but maybe this is just referring to the chairman who it is. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. So, two mentions of his father, which we all know is the president of the United States and was the vice president um, a year prior to this. So, is that how they're going to get away with this? Eric, is that it was 2017. He wasn't. This is a year after he's the vice president. 3 years before he's the president. Is that what they're going to say? Is we can't convict him of anything because he wasn't in office at the time?
yeah, I mean, whatever, sure. Like it doesn't. What does it matter? They could tell. They literally told us that. Yeah, who was it? Was it a Chris Wray? I forget, one of these FBI guys who said, "Yeah, Hillary Clinton. She had all these classified stuff and smashed up these phones and bleach bit and all that." But you know, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna let her go. It doesn't matter what they say, right? They could tell
Mm-hmm.
you. These people are quite obviously, as the old saying goes, they will pee on your leg and tell you it's raining. It doesn't matter. They don't have to come up with an excuse. They don't have to come up with an answer. And I kind of feel like, I mean, how many years has it been that Hunter Biden, that weirdo stuff from Hunter Biden, whether it's crack smoke, weighing dope on a scale, underage girls, hookers. I mean, the we know now that nothing will happen. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously the mainstream media is going to go to bat for him, unless they're not. And I think we talked about this a little bit off screen, that I guess some people might say that the media has been unleashed because the DNC wants to get rid of Biden. And I don't even really know if that's true, right? It doesn't. Nothing will happen, and that's the point. They are in charge. You are not. And this whole thing, like I said, it sounds like a late '90s action movie. Like I'm sending a correspondence to Zhao to make sure that he gets. It's like, what is even happening here? And it doesn't matter, bro. Like, they are going to weasel their way out of any and every situation. And if you question it, I mean, they'll throw the book at you, right? Like we saw, they impeached Donald Trump for investigating corruption of Joe Biden. And then since then they have kicked up the political persecution, as it were, up into the 100,000 trillion million billion whatever. They've kicked it up a notch because it's been going on since the day he came down the escalator. But when he really started to feel the heat, when the walls are closing in on Trump, is when he started talking about the corruption in Ukraine. And when we remember that he only started talking about Ukraine after 3 years of Russia nonsense. So I want to make sure that everybody remembers they talked about Russia for nonstop for 3 years. Dropped it like a hot potato. It vanished into thin air. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard might be a Russian. It could be Andrew Yang. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. They dropped it like a hot potato, focused on Ukraine, tried to take down Trump based on something, a phone call in Ukraine, and now we're accidentally giving them billions of dollars. Something's not right. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you like, but something's not adding up here.
For sure. And to your point that it seems like a movie, it's probably a Jason Statham movie where
Yeah.
people are sent to kill him. He kills them, picks up the cell phone that rings like, you tell Mr. Zhao.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not. You tell Mr. Zhao that I'm coming for him too.
Dude,
And
it's
then
just
So actually, people try to do journalism. I don't know who people from all these outlets are. I know, I don't know which one of them is from which, to be completely honest. But there was at least 4 people,
and can we just
asking her question. Can we just point at
well,
this?
I just look, I can't even look at these people. I mean, I know this actually got me in Instagram jail some months ago. But when I look at her and Kirby and the little redhead who was before this one, all of even Kamala, all of these people, I mean, I can't. They literally. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but they don't even look like they look like lizard people to me. It's not. They're not even real. Like, how does anybody look at this and think for one split second that this woman is going to tell you the truth? I mean, it's just. I've come so far that it's become comical, bro. It's like this is just
Well,
they're sticking it to us.
Kirby was on before her, before she came on stage. That's right, stage. And he wouldn't answer anything. So let's see if Kareem or Kareen was able to answer any questions.
The president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking and decision making of why the president decided to invite.
I'm just not going to get into family discussion, personal family discussion. As you know, Hunter is his son. I'm just not going to get into it.
Let me ask you this: if Hunter Biden wasn't the president's son, would he have invited someone who had just reached a plea agreement with federal prosecutors 2 days earlier?
A couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family member. It is not uncommon for family members to attend events at the White House. You could look at past presidents. I'm sure you have. So that is not uncommon. As it relates to anything related to Hunter, I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
So let's pause for a second and remind everybody that when Trump was president, all his children were fair game for anything, as they should be to an extent. And if Trump was president and Don Trump Jr. or Eric Trump had committed a crime or a series of crimes, pled guilty to it, got a nice plea deal where they won't serve jail time. Could you imagine Kayleigh McEnany going up there and being like, it's a personal matter. It's the president's son. We don't talk about that. That's just something personal with the family. We don't talk about the president's son. Could you imagine what everybody would say? They would say they're a blatant liar. They would demand that they step down. And you've got Karine Jean-Pierre up here acting like the president's son didn't confess to crimes. That's what a plea deal is. You confess to some lesser crimes so you don't have to go to jail, or you don't get as bad of a sentence for the greater crimes, and they knock it down. That's what happened. And on top of that, you've got these text messages that are going to be read out soon, I think, on this video, where we talk about Hunter Biden doing business deals with his father. My father's right next to me, as we just read, with the Chinese government. So that's 2 things. Hunter Biden committed crimes. 2, he's making deals with the Chinese government with his father sitting next to him. And the third thing is that Joe Biden has said how many times? Half a dozen at least, that he never has spoken to his son about his business dealings.
I'd say more than half a dozen. I'd say more, and not only half a dozen, but screaming at people like, my son is I'm so proud of him. He's, you know what I mean? Like getting clearly flying off the handle. It's all absolute insanity. And we'll I'm gonna let you finish. Shout out, yay! But this is, I think, quite clearly as in addition to just the smoke and mirrors, this dog and pony show. This is them being able to say, look, see, we gave him, you know what I mean? They're trying to like kind of a CYA thing, like cover their own ass. Like, see, we punished Hunter, but obviously it's all completely fake.
Yeah, he totally committed crimes, but we can't talk about it.
Can I follow up on that?
No, I just called in somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Curly wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? I mean, not an unreasonable question to ask, whether the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest, in some sort of coercive conversation for business dealings by his son. Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us.
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this, has made it very clear. I just don't have anything to share outside of what my colleagues have shared, and so I would refer you to him and the
Can you tell us a little bit about who you like to sleep with?
Text message.
I will. What I can tell you is I know that my colleague has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Counsel. I just don't have anything else to share.
In the shakedown attempt?
I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
No, you didn't. Yes or no? Was the president involved in the shakedown attempt?
Stephen, I just answered the question. It's not up to you how I answer the question. I just answered the question by telling you my colleagues at the White House Counsel has dealt with this, and I would refer you to them. Go ahead.
Can you just remind us what your colleague said from the White House Counsel so we have it?
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with all of you.
Your statements from
So she can't even give them the answer that was given because she doesn't have it, obviously, because she probably doesn't know if she knows the council has given some sort of answer. She knows that. She doesn't know what it is. She doesn't want to get in trouble by saying the wrong thing. But the idea, again, Eric, that the president's son can commit crimes, admit to them, and then mention that his father is sitting next to him during some sort of, I'm going to say conjecturally and without evidence, Your Honor, that he's doing crooked business dealings. Any business dealings you're doing with the government of China probably isn't on the level unless you're an official state government, which Hunter Biden is not. He is not a member of the state.
I would say, even if you are a part of the official government, you're going. I mean, I think you're actually even more prone to doing crooked business deals if you're part of the completely corrupt federal government doing deals with China. And this has nothing to do with the story, but can we remember a time when they were making all of these White House press corps people wear the stupid mask? Like, that's over now, right? Like, it's all completely fake. It's all completely phony. For months, they didn't even let people into the room, which of course was a way to weed out people who weren't going to lob up softball questions about Joe Biden's favorite flavor of ice cream or whatever it is. But that should let us know that it was all completely fake. And now, for some reason, like the great Alex Jones once said, they've been unleashed. They're, I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds. Now they want to ask questions. And now they're all kind of colluding, as some might say, to ask the same question and watch this little human shield from criticism squirm, even though we all know that no matter how many questions they get, nothing's going to happen. I mean, and this is why I always come back to this theory that, and I wish it weren't this way, and hopefully I'm wrong, but do we think for one split second the people pulling the strings of this lady, the people pulling the strings of Joe Biden and the entire establishment, do we think for one split second, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, all of these big cities included, that they are going to allow themselves to be voted out of office? It's not going to happen. They will stop at nothing. Everybody sees it. I look through Instagram accounts of far left-wing, completely corrupt San Francisco Mayor London Breed, look into her ethics violation payments, different story. All of these people, you look at the comments of their accounts. We're not talking about news articles from Fox. We're talking about their accounts. And you can see dozens of comments of people saying, give it a rest. And we are to believe that is the fringe minority, the smallest population. No, most people can see right through it. And this is just proof that it's all fake, and they are going to obfuscate and pretend that anybody calling them out is this extremist person, and they will maintain power by any means necessary, mostly jailing or attempting to jail their main political adversary. And we can watch this complete train wreck of this woman and her stupid haircut and her stupid sexuality and her stupid, this is infuriating.
Little sideshow Bobish.
It is
her hair.
It is. That's racist.
I think also what's happening here with some of the other reporters jumping on board, they know that they're not going to get an answer out of her. So it's pretty much a win-win situation by saying, I asked the question. I asked. Let's see what else we got here.
I tried.
Got another minute and a half here.
From that podium, you stated that the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaffirmation?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I will leave it there. Anything else, I will refer you to the White House counsel.
This is not a change?
I just answered the question. You just asked me, does my statement change? I just told you nothing has changed. That's answering the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The president was there 2 days prior.
Go ahead, Stephen. I'm calling on your colleague right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. To follow up on my colleague, is there
She'll take the
anything that
Cabbage
you
Patch doll.
can say with regard to this text message and what the president's son was alleging? Was the president there or not?
I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House counsel. They have addressed this, and I refer you to them. Go ahead.
Karine, have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the White House
Do
counsel.
you plan to have that conversation with the president?
No.
Did the president speak with the attorney general at all
I
last
can't.
night at the state dinner?
I cannot say if the president had a conversation with the attorney general last night. What I can refer you to is the White House counsel's office as it relates to the allegations. They've already addressed this. This is something for them to deal with. I refer you to the Department of Justice on anything else if you don't want to speak to the White House counsel's office.
And there was reporting earlier in the week that after the plea agreement was reached by Hunter Biden, that the
Shout out to the stenographer over here, this old lady who's typing her life out.
president felt relieved that that part of it was behind him. Is that true? Can you speak
I can't
to his
speak to that.
mindset?
I cannot speak to the president's mindset. Again, I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
You represent the president, lady. That is your job to speak. Like, on 1,000 different topics, she says the president believes this, the president believes that, which is her job to be like the mouth of the president. But on one of the most important things, probably the biggest story, one of the biggest stories at least in his presidency, she has nothing to say, I guess.
No,
What a
well, I mean,
surprise.
well, how dare you, right? Like, I look, I mean, I'm Karine Jean-Pierre. I was just, let me stop. I don't want to get us in too much trouble, but
That's fine. We're already demonetized on YouTube.
So a better question would be, of course, I will likely never get this opportunity. Who knows where life might take you, but what will you be willing to discuss, Karine? You want to talk about who you had sex with? You want to talk about the color of your skin? You want to talk about what is on the table? What are you able to discuss?
Yes. She wants to talk about celebrities whenever they come to the White House. It's a big deal. The
TikTok
soccer
influencers,
show.
vanilla ice
Guys who-
cream.
Yeah. It's just a wild time, and even if you're anti-Trump, I think everybody agrees that Kayleigh McEnany was the best White House press secretary in recent history, in the last decade at least, because she had her binder. She had to face all this hate, whether you agree with her or not. She was lambasted every single day. She had the binder with all her notes. She always had an answer. She was like that goody two-shoe girl in school who always had her homework done and always read ahead of the assigned reading.
Yeah, and do remember that the media actually lambasted her for being prepared. Like, well,
Yes.
she researched it and she had thought about this prior. Yeah. Okay, well, that was part of the job.
Exactly. We're live on Rumble for the second time ever. Everybody watching on there, shout out, of course, Getter. Getter numbers were back up last week. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what determines us getting 2,000 viewers on Getter or 78 views on Getter. but
Probably
it
the
seems
beard.
that
Could be the
maybe
beard.
the beard. Maybe the beard is bringing everything back. Triple B, BYOBB. That extra B is a typo. So shout out everybody on there. Shout out audio listeners on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, and shout out everybody in the chat. A guy with a name. I assume it's a guy. I'm sorry to misgender you, but it's a old dirty bastard related name. Shout out again, Wu-Tang Clan. If you guys want to super chat us, you can do it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Andrew Says. We'll read those on there. I'll read one from this guy. He says Dems are a disgrace. Shake my head. We can all get behind that, whether we're liberal, conservative, far left, or maybe you're a constitutional Congolese supporter. I don't know. Does Congo have a constitution?
I don't know. Didn't they have like a coup or something?
There's two Congos. There's the People's Republic of Congo, the Democratic People's Republic of Congo, and something else, right? Central African Republic is the new Congo.
Look, dude,
Does
I'm
Congo,
not. Why do I have to look up? Okay, do I look all right? All right, sorry.
according to some people in comments, you're not even black.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that
This
tells
is rambling nonsense. But can I want to mention too? You said, oh, even if you're not a Trump supporter, let's be. Shout
the
out
Congo does have a constitution.
Shout out Kamalto Hills Up Harris, who constantly says, "Let's be clear," which you are about to get a heaping helping of Costco-sized word salad. That nobody likes these people, right? You can go, if you go to San Francisco or you go to Los Angeles or you go to New York and you talk to some weirdo lefty protesters, do you think they're going to get behind Joe Biden? No, they're going to say that Eric Adams isn't going far enough left because he's not closing Rikers Island, or London Breed is racist because she said Honduran immigrants are flooding the streets with dope, or Eric Garcetti is a elitist because he has a police presence outside of his house when protesters are there. So nobody likes them. It's only a handful of people that work for CNN and possibly MSNBC who, and they don't even really like them. They're just on the payroll. Nobody likes these people, but somehow they have, and you got to give it up to them, they have managed to gain and maintain and wield power even though nobody likes them.
Gain some function, even, Eric Butler.
Heyo.
Ben Shapiro rails against a song called Pound Town 2, which is ridiculous to even say, gets torched by Nicki Minaj in Twitter beef. So this is obviously a biased story from, I don't know, Microsoft takes anything. Euroweb, who has 822 followers. Find a story about Ben Shapiro. So this is Nicki Minaj, who's looking like a Call Me Now lady ever so gradually.
Which one's Nicki, Andrew?
Miss Cleo, this one on the left. And then on the right, apparently, I've never heard of this girl. Her name is Sexy Red with 2 Y's because search engine optimization is very key. Just ask Trippy Red. So
with
Ben
2 D's,
Shapiro,
right? He has 2 D's. Okay.
And 2 P's.
Okay.
So Ben Shapiro apparently has a problem with the follow-up to this song, which is a cultural thing that was going around last week called Pound Town. So obviously you know what that's about. It's a song about sex. And, there's degrading music out there. There's degrading movies out there if we're seeing it as entertainment. The problem is when this stuff is targeted to children. Now, I don't think Nicki Minaj has targeted herself at children too often, but it's the fact that they are, pushed on.
I might beg to differ.
I mean her personally. But she's going to allow BET and MTV to play her music videos. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I'm an outsider in this field. But Cardi B is a literal stripper who admitted to drugging and robbing people, and she's pushed as something to be beholden.
Okay, well, as far as Nicki, now we do remember when Nicki became a common sense, I don't want to say conservative, but a common sense hero for about a week when she said, "Hey, don't be bullied into taking this pharmaceutical," and everybody, obviously not everybody.
Well,
there's people like Joy Reid.
Too.
So think about this for a second. Joy Reid, okay, just the worst type of weirdo, race baiting, political hack shill. Her and Roland Martin. These are the people that any other time, D.L. Hughley, notoriously, any other time would walk over hot coals to defend anything a black person did. But then you step out of line once. If Nicki says, maybe don't be bullied into this, think about you, make your own decisions. Now she's persona non grata. So it's just funny to see how she can make sense. And this is how polarized everything has become, right? Because it's at this point in time, it's like, it's weird. Like, how could she hate Ben Shapiro because she was a common sense conservative hero a year or two ago? Because obviously people are very complex and they don't have to fit into all these boxes. And I've always thought, even when Nicki Minaj went to bat for freedom of choice, shall we say, as far as the pharmaceuticals are concerned, and I'm sure she would probably go to bat for freedom of choice as far as bending your baby, different story. I always thought that she was I was never impressed by Nicki Minaj. Okay, let's just put it like that's the short story. She looked weird from the beginning, like this weird caricature of a woman, almost like a transgender type of look to her, where it was completely all fake, and Drake was propping her up, and everybody loved her, and everybody loved her verse on Monster, which you know I didn't even. That was actually one of the worst songs on the album, but I've got completely off track now. Um, Now she's mad at Ben Shapiro because these they have to constantly one up themselves, right? So her looking like a Disney Pixar character is not enough now, and Cardi B talking about WAP is not enough now. They have to talk about the. I mean, have you heard the song? Do you know the lyrics?
The new one? No.
Okay,
Ben
well, I've
Shapiro. Well, we're going to listen to it. Don't you worry. He sarcastically called the duet one of the great pieces of art in the history of Western civilization. He added that the lyrics made Cardi B and Megan the Stallion. Again, that's why rappers put extra syllables so that you can search for them and they'll come up.
well, not syllables, just letters, but
Sorry, letters. Megan the Stallions WAP seem almost childhood friendly. This all seems like an amazing way of capturing an excellent father for your son. I'm so glad that you decided to open applications by describing the color of your booty hole, Ben Shapiro says. That's a great way to find your spouse. Apparently, Nicki Minaj found it necessary to do a second version of Pound Town. Now, here's the thing. Are we going to stand behind the lyrics of this song? No. Are we going to say it's meant for kids? No. But for Ben Shapiro to be like, I'm so glad that you've decided to open applications by describing, like, it's graphic and stupid music. Is it entertainment? Yes. If she's going out and making if she was to go out and make statements being like, look at my butthole, then yeah, you could be like, this is a crazy person. And these are stupid lyrics and they happen all the time and no matter what direction it is. Look at any Eminem song. Look at where's Ben Shapiro on Insane Clown Posse songs and their lyrics? I guess this is more popular than that, but like to be picking apart like crappy lyrics and like I don't know why. I think Ben Shapiro just thinks people like him.
No, I think I have a little bit of a reason why.
The Daily Wire people like watching the Daily Wire react to obscene and hardcore rap because they're so like conservative that people think they're so tightly wound. It's the same reason Michael Knowles does reviews of NF videos and stuff. So like Ben Shapiro is going to react to things. Ben Shapiro reacts, and that's what it is. He could do this for a Kid Rock song who's a hardcore conservative. He could do this for a lot of people who are conservatives and say these lyrics are terrible.
Well, the reason I believe this is because it's the number one song. So on iTunes, on Spotify, it's getting billions of plays, billions of views, and I don't think it's out of line for him. I mean, they can obviously have their opinion and make these disgusting songs. I think Ben Shapiro could, he has the right to do the same thing. And if I recall, and fact check this, but I think in certain categories, because it's always hard to tell, every single rapper wants to put out on their Instagram and on their Twitter like number one, and then you look at it and it's like number one in the category of Southern Baptist left-handed rapper. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. So I think what happened was it was climbing the charts and it was battling maybe a more conservative leaning song for the number one spot, and that's why he took it upon himself to say this. And I think, dude, it is just, it's so crazy. Like, where are they going to take this? Because like I said, they have to one up them. What was crazy in 1992 or whatever, Baby Got Back might have been explicit, and now they're
but Madonna was doing crazy stuff. Then I was recently reminded of the Madonna makeout with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. Like, the skank music isn't new, Eric.
No,
that's the thing. You go back into the 80s when guys were dressing as women and women were wearing like these stupid outfits like Cher and stuff where it's like those workout unitards. It's just a cycle with music. Like, we're old enough to remember how many stupid names there have been in music. Like dumbass.
I don't think you understand this. The degree that they have leveled this up. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and there's always been nasty stuff. But to exactly to your point, really, is that they have to move it a little bit further each time. So
Well, eventually it's just going to be straight sex, and that's where I think things are going. And it's like going to be like two guys get to make out in front of you, and you can't have a problem with it, and then some. We'll hear a little bit with lyrics, and then we'll mute it a bit, I think, so that we don't get it pulled down in the replay. Number one.
that's the point. That's what I'm saying.
It's bad though.
Yeah, because it's been planted, bro. This I don't know what. Maybe you can Google it, or maybe it's in the listing here. This is what the kids might call an industry plant. There is nothing authentic about this. Just like there's
not that
nothing
many
authentic.
views. Like considering 1.7 million views in a week, or in 2 weeks, a month actually. That's not like, yes, it's a ton, and I wish I had 1.7 million views, but for this to be number one, like you would think that
That's
20
because it's
million views.
fake. That's because it's fake, and I mean, it's that self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So like, we're gonna pretend it's popular, so it becomes popular, right? So look, I mean, these people are despicable. Ice Spice brings out "Sexy Red" at Governor's
Let's
Ball
see
in
her
New York.
most popular song here. This is the original, 11 million views.
This is
You
Sapporo.
can get past the Sapporo ad.
It's this.
What's number one in the U.S. now? Modelo.
Oh, I thought you were talking about songs. I was gonna say I think it's Lil Durk and J. Cole, which actually is a pretty good song, if I'm honest.
Well, you're contributing to the degradation of Ben
No,
Shapiro's America.
listen to the song. It's look, J. Cole and Lil Durk and even NBA YoungBoy at this particular point. Think about that. NBA YoungBoy, what, a year or so ago, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, came out and said, basically, I'm paraphrasing here. I realize my music has been actually destroying lives. I'm going to try to do better. And whether he does that or not, imagine how kind of scary that is for the establishment to have a young guy who's glorifying violence and keeping people into the victim cycle, saying, "Damn, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore." That's not good for them, and that's why stuff like this pops up. Is because
Who's
this
that?
can
J.
take
Cole?
NBA YoungBoy, who the
Oh,
kids
okay, yeah.
they
I know who that is.
they love this kid, and I tried. Well, look, I'm old. But I tried. I was like, let me, because even Gilly and Wallow, right? And they talk,
No.
they're trying to stay young and they're trying to keep up with the new hip hop. So I give this kid NBA YoungBoy a chance. I'm trying to understand why he is so immensely popular, and I can't understand it. I cannot understand it.
It's
It
just
doesn't make any
whatever's on
sense.
TV, man. Like I remember being younger and whatever was put on in Canada, Much Music. It gains attraction. Like I remember back in the day, the song "Wanksta" by 50 Cent being played over and over again, and that wasn't in his top 20 best songs. It was just on, and 50 Cent became popular from that. And then "In the Club" was the one that made him gigantic. But like
Wanksta was pretty
whatever,
good though.
yeah. Well, looking back, anything they put on becomes popular because it comes up on loop. So this is Sexy Red Pound Town Spring Break Edition official video. Let's see how this sounds with an open mind. This has 11 million views. If it's actually a good song or not. That's good. Let's just go ahead and skip that. Did I make a cardinal mistake trying to skip it? I think I did. We can just go ahead and repeat that. I like.
Well invested. It looks like she might not be, considering that giant diamond necklace that she's wearing. And I think, don't quote me on this, but as I understand it, I think Sexy Red here, or Big Sexy, or whatever her name is, is in the true fashion of taking things up one notch, right? How Cardi B used to be a stripper. I believe this woman was quite literally a prostitute. And if you look,
that is one layer up, and she started off the video by flashing the camera. So
yeah, no, but I mean like an actual prostitute. Like if you listen to there's another song called "Slut Me Out."
So you're saying we need to watch that one?
That's a video by NLE Choppa. Oh, you know what?
Heard of him?
I might be mistaken. This I might have my Ratchet Hood Rats.
Up is coming up, or Slut Me Out?
Oh, Slut Me.
NLE Chopper is Slut Me Out.
Slut Me
I
Out.
found
Okay.
it.
But that might not be Big Sexy, but there's another woman called Suki Hana, I believe.
That's a good name.
And bro, it's complete degeneracy. I don't know any other way to say this without sounding like a grumpy old man, but it's just absolutely disgusting. And this, I know it's not directly geared towards kids like some of the books that we've highlighted on the show, but who is it actually supposed to be for? Is this music really supposed to be for a grown woman in her 30s who may or may not be going to and from work, or who may or may not be looking after her kids? Who is it actually for, right? I mean, so yeah, they're not gonna put it on Nick Jr. They're not gonna put it on daytime television for kids, but it's not for a grown woman. It's not for a woman who has a credit card bill to pay. It's for maybe a little sect of women who might be between the age of 18 and 30 who are looking to take advantage of a man, and for lack of a better term, just be hookers. Like,
yeah, it's
talk
very
about it.
hookerish, the song. But if you watch enough TikTok cringe like I do, not on TikTok, on YouTube, then you see a lot of women in their 30s and 40s and even 50s thinking that they are immersed in rap culture and listening to these songs and stuff. This is Slut Me Out by Annalie Choppa.
But there might be a remix or something because it has a woman on it. One of the horror women. Remix is here. You see the first in comment?
This one? Oh.
Up at the top, the remix is out. Rip on my Sexy Red. Yep. See?
Same girl.
Yep. There is another woman called Suki Han. Okay, look. If I'm not mistaken here, and I could be a big right wing.
Even like, I think everything gets thrown by the wayside if the music is good, and you can just be like, well, it's a great song. Like if you threw up like I don't know who's something everybody likes. Whether
Kanye West is the only good rapper that exists today.
Shout out Burner. But my point is, you can excuse a lot of stuff if the art is good. You can have a movie with a bad actor in it if the rest of the movie and the actors are good.
Name one good rap song from the past 5 years. One good rap song in the past 5 years.
I don't know. I can look at my playlist, Eric. There's plenty. But there's not. My point is that you like the Red Hot Chili Peppers had stupid music videos. They're really weird. A lot of bands and artists have had stupid music videos, and you're just like, what is going on? I mean, I looked at a Prince music video the other day. He's just writhing around. He's wearing a belly top, and it's just like, what is this? But people loved Prince. Michael Jackson. You can go through so many people that you'll excuse the weirdness and the cringiness, and in some cases the over sexualization if people actually like the artist. I don't think this girl is that talented, so that's why I quite don't understand it. Not talented and not good looking. I wonder why.
Because it's look, at risk of sounding like, I don't know, maybe a Ben Shapiro or a Mark Dice or something. I mean, it's cultural Marxism. That's them. They're trying to turn this into a thing that is, as some might say, we're trying to normalize it, right? Like, so they want to do this. And look, bro, Luke and the 2 Live Crew and all of these things, they've all just paled in comparison. And like the article said, or like, I guess the article quoting Ben says that this almost makes WAP look like a lullaby. You know what I mean? It almost makes WAP look, because it's just so disgusting. And I think this is just obviously my own personal opinion, of course. But I realized I listened to my iPod on shuffle, and I literally don't know a song that came out after 2018. Not to say all those songs were good, but something happened there where it just, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. But you know what? Maybe it was, the day I turned, I'm not going to age myself here, but the day I turned, 30 plus 1. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, and you're like, wait, you kind of like snap out of it. You're like, wait, what the hell was happening? And even, we joke about it now, but there was even the notorious Kanye lyric where he talks about the sex he had with a model and how she may or may not have bleached a certain region of her body. Different story.
Like the WAP song, that's about a vagina. But then we even have this guy saying "spit on me" and stuff. It's like he talked about his gooch. It's like, dude, this guy needs to be beaten up.
Dude, how long did we play that video for?
30 seconds? Most of the intro and then like 10 seconds of
Dude,
lyrics.
I promise you, and we're not going to do it here. You can do it on your own time. It gets worse. I promise you that it gets worse. I mean, this is stuff that you'd have to be, I would assume you would have to be addicted to. I mean, you'd have to be so down the rabbit hole. This isn't like, oh, like a Alexis Texas or like some run of the mill porn star. You'd have to be deep into this like depravity of like, I mean, just disgusting stuff that I can't imagine would be pleasurable for anybody. But you'd have to be, I mean, you'd have to be so desensitized to every sexual act. I mean, it's through the roof, bro. I don't know where it goes from here. We shall see.
Where we're going from here is Chris Sky. The Toronto mayoral election is tomorrow. Now, Chris Sky has been trending on Twitter a lot lately, and the election's tomorrow. And it seems like, and now I don't think he's going to win. You know, Chris Sky is nice to me. I've done interviews with him. We have our uber viral, like 100 million view video. But I don't think
like
he's
made
gonna,
you famous, right? Isn't it? That's how you.
some say. I got a lot of weird looks at the gym. Maybe they just are confused because I'm so young looking and I've got a graying beard. But most people don't think he's going to win. He's second in, you know, the website Bet365. You've probably heard commercials for. He's in the second favorite on that website, on that gambling website. Now, he's gained a lot of ground. Why, you would ask? Probably because people are betting on him. That's how betting odds work. Obviously, they decide who they think is going to win, but as you bet for a person, the odds become worse so that you can't just keep betting for this person and everybody makes all this money off them, right? So they kind of weigh it that way on how popular a person is betting. But days before the election, it seems to me, and I consider myself unbiased in this, it seems to me that they're trying to smear him a little bit. I don't know who this person is that came up to him and, you know, quote unquote attacked him, but this is Six Buzz TV, which we discussed is like the shade room for Toronto. They're unreliable in terms of accuracy. They're a culture website. They're putting up whatever is popular, right? But they've helped Chris Sky. They have a huge audience. I don't know how many they have on Twitter. They have millions on Instagram. 78,000 on Twitter, but it's probably on their Instagram too. Young guys coming up and saying that he's got a problem with a guy named YG, spelled WHY, and his father. So, but you'll see after, like, this wasn't as contentious as they try to make it.
Oh, God, you want this my nigga YG, bro? You want this my
great Twitter video failing us again? It's 11 seconds long.
nigga YG? Are you fucking stupid, kid? Don't touch me, bro.
So Chris Guy says he wasn't actually attacked and that he threw the guy's phone under some cars and he had to go get it. Now, fast forward to the next video, which kind of shows that he didn't attack him. Chris Guy was spotted in the hood smoking some weed with the community. Now, this is the same stuff, the same people. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. You can hear his voice. And they try to say that they got up to smoke weed with fentanyl in it. They're banking on, sadly, you not even clicking on the video.
Anybody?
Hey, what are you crushing, sir?
Some weed, bro.
Huh? Some what?
Some weed.
Hey, where's the grubble?
I don't know. That's not my department. If you guys want that, you put it in. They gotta close, and all these publicly traded companies that are like nationalized.
Hit that shit.
Of course.
Hit that shit.
It's just weed. Would you? Anybody?
So I'm gonna go ahead and say, Eric, that was probably what he ruled, and that he didn't smoke fentanyl. But what makes me think that this is a setup, an attempted setup, is who, like, we just gave him some weed and smoked some fentanyl. That's lie number one. And then who goes, are we sure you want this junkie to be our mayor? As if some random guy who comes up to you on the street and tries to give you hard drugs that could kill you. Fentanyl, like a drop of it can kill you. Are you sure you want this junkie to be our mayor? That just screams plant to me, Eric. I don't know how you feel about that. But first you act like you beat him up. And then in the next video, which is clearly after, you're friends with the guy. And now you're saying, are you sure you want this junkie to be our mayor, you guys? And this comes out 2 days before the election? Come on now.
Yeah, I also think it's quite fitting that, did you notice the PSYOP term trending on the side of Twitter there? Which I just think is kind of funny.
I see that, yes.
Which obviously doesn't have really anything to do with the video, but that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with it in the States. You guys are dealing with it. PSYOPs I mean, election season is here, and I think as the ruling class establishment understands more and more that the old banana in the tailpipe isn't going to be so easy to pull off this time, They're getting a little bit desperate, and that's why they're doing stuff like this. And look, this may be unpopular as well, but I don't know if I'd want the mayor to be smoking joints at a barbecue in the front yard or whatever the hell is going on there either.
True.
I mean, look, go fine, bro. Go home with your wife and your kids and have a glass of whiskey, and you can smoke your bong or do whatever you want. Like, I don't really care, but it has this vibe of like, hello, fellow young people. Like, what are you
They
doing,
came up
bro?
to him as the thing.
And
That's the
and so
thing
what?
there.
He should have said, "Hey, you know what? Not today, guys." I mean, what did you thought
Yeah.
that was going to work out good for you? Like, yeah, I'm gonna smoke a joint with these kids, and they're gonna vote for me, bro. The ship sailed. I don't know, and you clearly have a little bit more faith in the entire system than I do, but I don't see a way where anybody in the States or Canada or otherwise just says, "We had a good game, guys, but we were outvoted this time. We're gonna go back to the drawing board." And we're going to come up with some good ideas, and we'll be back at it next year. That's not going to happen.
The problem is, Eric, the girl who's running the communist lady, from the NDP, the far left.
What's her name
party,
again? Can you
Olivia Chow. She used to live in community housing while she had a public office position. Serial liar.
So
Wants
this
to
is like
raise
a real
taxes.
commie, like a real commie.
Yeah, she wants to raise taxes, do some defunding policing. You know how that goes. The thing is people don't really vote for that party. So I could see actually this guy who's a former police chief winning, named Mark Saunders, and then there's 100 other candidates or whatever. But if Chris Guy is truly the number 2 candidate, I mean, I know somebody whose brother who doesn't pay attention to politics says he's voting for him, and he's in a union, a big union, and he's saying he's going to try to get all his friends to vote for him. The reason, if there's a strategic point to Chris Guy going out and smoking weed, it's because this like faux hood culture in Toronto is very widespread. There's a very small area where it's actually, like you would be considered to be in the hood in Toronto.
So six doggy, right?
Yeah, and everything else that permeates from that is, like people trying to pretend that they're gangsters. It seeps out into the cities that are around it, into the other boroughs. These people that perpetuate this culture come from rich parents. They live in a big house. They get to drive their parents' BMW or Mercedes or whatever it is.
Like Kamala Harris when she smoked weed while listening to Tupac, even though Tupac was only in the 4th grade at the time.
My point is, there's probably some 18 to 22-year-olds that are like, what's Ben Shapiro say? Yeah, doggy, who think he's so cool for doing that they might just go and vote for the first time. So I don't know. I mean, it would be hilarious if he wins. Anybody is better than this one woman. Literally anybody. Because if the former cop wins, he's actually going to care about policing. It's hashtag Eric Adams. So maybe there's not as much there. But literally anybody but the communist lady, as I've said in another video before, and I think you'll do much better. It's like if you had AOC become your mayor, or like the Boston mayor or London Breed. It'd basically be one of these far left mayors who then is like, you know what? The only thing that matters is we expand the gay rainbow sidewalks. The only thing that matters is we pay higher taxes. And the little drones will walk through Toronto and they'll pay $25 for their avocado on toast. And they'd be like, this is great. I can't afford to live here, but I'll grab 3 of my friends. I'll pay $3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment while I live here, so we can say we live in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it would be worth it to me. And I don't know enough about Canadian politics, but I just after my point is, after what we both dealt with for the past 3 or 4 years, these people locking you up, destroying your businesses, ruining the learning curve for children. I mean, Gretchen Whitmer, a fake FBI plot, all of these things that these people, all of these things that these people have done. There's no reason for me to believe that I've driven across the country. I've seen a lot of the states, right? And there's zero enthusiasm for Joe Biden. And the same time that we blanket the country with mail-in ballots, we are to believe that Joe Biden is suddenly more popular than Barack Obama ever was. It's just not realistic. And that same bunch of people are not going to play by the rules. It's just not going to happen. The fix was in allegedly. YouTube, Susan, whoever the new Susan is. Even
you
though
can
they
say
changed,
that about the 2020 election.
they changed
It's not
the
any
rules.
upcoming ones.
What?
You can say that about the 2020 election now, just not any upcoming elections.
Exactly. And we should have known that something was up because Joe Biden, under the guise of Rona, it's so scary. We're going to have drive-in rallies with a bunch of people sitting in Jeeps that we paid for, or some weirdo government contract. But we can't debate that. It's just not safe enough. And then Katie Hobbs, Cartel Katie of Arizona, wants to say that, well, I'm not going to debate Carrie Lake because she's just an election denier. And Katie Hobbs actually went on TV and said that when this election is over, nobody's going to worry about whether I debated Carrie Lake. She said that. And that should have been a clear red flag that it doesn't matter what you think, bro. It doesn't matter who votes. These people don't give a damn about voting. You think Joe Biden is Joe Biden going to be out there campaigning, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., traveling the whole country, getting the word out about how great he's been and how he's going to fix the problems? Or is he just going to sit back and let Kamalto take a couple interviews and let Karine Jean-Pierre get roasted at the podium while the machine behind the curtain goes to bat for him? What's more likely?
The Wizard of Oz. Curtain gets pulled back. You see the big fat guy pressing the button. They didn't let Chris Sky debate either. Toronto election. If you're in Toronto, go out and vote for anyone but
and
crazy
RFK too. RFK,
lady.
they're not gonna let Joe Biden talk to RFK, but we'll save that for
no, they will not. Unauthorized opinions. We have a bonus podcast every weekend on our Patreon. We film it during the week and we get it for you for free. That's not true. On the weekend. If you want to see that podcast, if you want to hear our bonus podcast, you have to go to patreon.com/UOPod and you can select a membership level. This is in Canadian dollars, so it's even cheaper. You can help us become Joe Rogan. You can become a Raptors super fan. Shout out to the Raptors super fan, where you can become an unauthorized person.
I thought that was the owner. I thought was that racist?
No, that is racist. The same people who own the Toronto Maple Leafs own the Raptors. So patreon.com/UOPod. If you want to help us out, help us become independent, please go there. Contribute to a show, to the chat. Somebody says, I smell rigged elections. Another person says, go Canadian. Lawn Don's tatty so batty. I'm not even sure what that means. I'll bring it up there though. Shout out Vegan Love. If you guys want to support us, patreon.com/UOPod. If you're listening, please give us a 5-star review. Share this is the most important thing. We love you guys always, of course. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Support us there so we can monetize that. Anything left to say, Eric?
I do have a book that is still for sale. Yeah. A good Seinfeld reference. I do have a book that is still for sale, and I looked back at it for, every couple months, take a look back at it, and it only gets better with age. I promise you, just remembering some of the absolute insanity that happened as America's most densely populated city was driven into the ground. New York City 2020 by Eric Butler. Check it out.
Rumble, Twitter, YouTube, Getter.
Twitch.
We'll see you next week. Twitch.
Turn it up, Jordan.